So, what's going on with the gas heart? The gas heart was first performed in Paris on June 10th, 1921, as part of the Grande Manifestation Salon. Terrible French. This was the first Soirée Dada. That's what it's called, the Soirée Dada. And this show featured it was a little like the Cabaret Voltaire. It was a variety show. Gas Heart's really short, so it was part of a night of things. And this show featured the music of a porcelain repairman. It featured a mock sermon. It featured the dance of the miraculous fowl. It had a long scatological poem entitled "The Book of Kings." And then after all that, many of the Dada artists involved, not professional actors, just the artists of the night, including Tristan Tzara, they got on stage and they performed the Gas Heart. So the Gas Heart gives a lot of stuff away about the nature of this show in the opening stage directions. Neck stands downstage, nose opposite, confronting the audience. Immediately, we get confrontation. All the other characters enter and leave as they please. The Gas Heart walks slowly around, circulating wildly. As you may have noticed while reading, the Gas Heart is not a character, at least with any dialogue or direction in this play at all. Only one production I found even included a Gas Heart as a character, having an actor sit center stage with their head through a table for the entire play. The title is most likely an allusion to a mechanized industrial world, a world that just left a war, which featured the most notable use of chemical weapons to date through mustard gas. So World War I is very much so evident in this play. There's multiple mentions to war, and the next war, and the last war. So we see again this focus on the war efforts and the presence of it in our society. Anyway, back to the stage directions. It is the only greatest, or rather, it is the only and greatest 3-act hoax of the century. It will satisfy only industrialized imbeciles who believe in the existence of men of genius. Actors are requested to give this play the attention due a masterpiece, such as Macbeth or Chanticleer, but to treat the author, who is not a genius, with no respect, and to note the levity of the script, which brings no technical innovation to the theater. It's very easy to focus on that word hoax because the confrontational nature of the play and the contemptuous use of confusing language about racehorses and the length of love in yards and statues, jewels, roasts. It makes it seem like the joke is on the audience, that's the hoax, that this is all a con, and everyone was tricked into thinking they were seeing theater. Well, that's all true, but it's also a hoax because Tzara can't negotiate the contempt for formal language, or in this case just form in general, with the total anarchy aspect of Dadaism. It's this problem, in fact, which leads to the end of Dadaism, but we'll get to that with the riot. In addition to being a hoax, the play is also a 3-act, well-made play that adheres to that conventional structure. Now, bear with me when I say that, because Tzara, ironically, tries to obfuscate his structure with confounding language, going against one of his own Dada principles. True Dadaism is really, really hard, damn near impossible. At the center of the Gas Heart is the mouth. These characters are named after body parts, but never really act exactly like those parts. The ear is not just there to listen. The eyebrow is not, just a physical expression. These are the nose isn't just taking in scents and stuff like that. It's not a directly literal representation of limbs. And this is some of Tzara's anarchy, but the naming's still intentional. And it's been said that with the eye, the mouth, the nose, the ear, the neck, the eyebrow on stage, it goes to follow that the audience in the theater is the brain. It takes some imagining to make that happen, but just put onto the proscenium, put yourself as the audience, and on the proscenium is the rest of the face kind of below there. Because you're kind of looking, especially if you got like a rake seating, you're sort of looking down at that. Yeah. Yeah. But the mouth is the protagonist, because the mouth keeps trying to control the conversation, complaining repeatedly that it is lagging. The conversation is lagging. Isn't it lagging? Yes, isn't it? The back and forth that happens twice in first act. And at the end of Act 1, when this is repeated again, that the conversation is lagging, we have our major dramatic question right on cue, as if this were the most straightforward structural play we've ever encountered. So we get the question of, will the mouth fix the anarchic conversation? Again and again, mouth enters, attempts to take over the show, gets mocked or ridiculed, or mostly just confronted with nonsense. And the mouth runs away, until by the end of Act 2, when the crisis is at its highest point, as would be a conventional structure, the mouth is nothing more than a racehorse on fire. And then by the end of the play, the rest of the the cast, they've restrained mouth. Literally, they're riding them like a horse. And then, as any well-made play should, all the characters decide that this will end in a lovely marriage, and now it's time to go lie down. So it ends very conventionally.